purpose of this panel is basically, I've been going to cons for many, many years. And of course, voice actors are quite frequently at conventions, but I figured that some people might like to hear how the sausage is made, kind of what goes into the entire production process.
But does anyone really want to know how sausage is made?
You'd be surprised, because I see it a lot on forums. I see people email us with questions all the time that are very specific to the production side, which actually is my favorite one. So, the DVD and Blu-ray department at Funimation is comprised of several smaller departments.
Could you speak up a little bit? Could you speak up a little bit?
Oh, here's switch. Okay. Hello? Oh, yeah, mic. So the smaller departments are translations, subtitling, DVD and Blu-ray authoring, video and audio compression, quality control, and our producer. So it's a bunch of, I guess, mix and match departments that don't quite fit in anywhere else.
So I guess the production side of things that don't go into the specific dubbing.
Yes.
Specifically the dubbing and mixing, that's handled by production department.
Yes, absolutely. So technically, I guess I fall under the creative services umbrella, but it's not really creative necessarily. It kind of is, but so do you guys have any specific questions? Oh, yes.
How does quality control work in the production process?
Quality control is it's actually one of our hardest jobs to hire for. Because quality control, and I know this is going to sound great to everybody, you basically have to watch anime all the time, all day, every day. Yes, but it's actually not really very glamorous because what they have to do is you have to stare at a screen for about 8 hours. I'll kind of describe what they get in the QC process. After I have produced a disc, after, of course, everything is translated, subtitled, the dub is done, all the pieces are put together, the authors will go ahead and author a disc, whether it be DVD or Blu-ray, or both. And what we do is we submit them into quality control, and it's their job to check all of the programming on our discs. It's also their job to make sure there are no video and audio problems. And that can be very, very time-consuming. So a 25-minute episode might take you several hours to watch, especially anything could happen to video. We might see a frame that has been reversed. They have to basically stare at a screen and not blink for a long, long period of time. So it's very, very tough. It's challenging because they're the last line of defense before a product goes out to customers. And of course, we're all human beings. Something will eventually hit, but we try not to as much as humanly possible. So I think they do a really good job, and they're kind of unsung heroes because they catch all sorts of stuff.
Because while it sounds fun, and that sounds like watching cartoons all day is your job, you don't get to watch it for the content. You don't get to watch it for the performances. You have to watch it for the technical problems and aspects. And,
exactly, and honestly, they all deserve a very special award for the amount of times they've all watched Dragon Ball Z. Over and over, and you know, because every time we re-release it, they have to watch it again.
That's good. Sound turned off.
Yes!
Nope, can't do that. Can't do that. But they catch some really cool stuff. They catch some problems with the subtitles, especially whenever it gets very, very tricky. So with Blu-ray, how many of you guys have seen Eden of the East?
Not on Blu-ray though.
Yes, but you can understand what kind of a subtitling challenge that presented because of all the cell phones and everything and all the text.
Yeah.
Our program actually doesn't support that. So somebody painted basically TIFF files that we use for subtitling. They hand painted each one of those subtitle files and placed them specifically. So it went through rounds and rounds and rounds of revisions. Now, the technology with Blu-ray, it's a lot easier to place them than it is on DVD. Honestly, the subtitles are just going to look better, simply by the nature of what it is. But yeah, QC's very tough, and sometimes they ask me for tough calls, whether to pass something or not. Yes.
How does the selection process go about what goes on Blu-ray and what doesn't?
That's a very good question. The selection process, really, it's quite a bit. Sometimes it depends on what rights we receive from the licensor to begin with. Other things, it also depends on the quality of the show. If the show obviously is natively in HD, it's much easier to put on Blu-ray than it is to do an upscale. And certain shows really don't look good as upscales, so whenever possible, if we want to upscale something, what we'll do is we'll ask for film if it's available, and we'll ask to do film transfer. But a lot of stuff is not being done on film these days, and many, many new shows are coming out already apparently in HD. but we may not have the rights for it. Because that's also part of the reason, because Japan and the United States have the same region code. So they might want to go ahead and release their version first. I don't know.
Not gonna like pick up Blu-ray.
Yes.
Because we're the last source they were getting.
Yes. Yeah.
The Blu-ray, but not.
Yes, absolutely. Well, they just released that. It looks really good.
Yeah, and it's without up too, right?
Yes. So any other questions here?
In the future, how do you see Blu-ray like releasing that format?
Well, my perspective is going to be very different from maybe some other people's because by our very nature, anime fans are early adopters of technology, really. It amazed me when Blu-ray hit the market how many anime fans had already upgraded all of their systems. Everybody's very technical. It's really interesting. I think that honestly, a lot of people are only buying Blu-ray right now. I think it's going to be around for a while. But also, we're coming into a very interesting time where a lot of people prefer digital, over physical media. I personally prefer physical media because I like that ownership of having something in my hand. I'm a collector at heart. So I like stuff with extra features and beautiful packaging and art booklets, and I'm that sort of person. But I don't know, as different generations of kids start growing up, I don't know if they'll have the same attitude. It's kind of like how people aren't buying as many books anymore. They're, because they have a Nook or a Kindle or something like that. But I need that physical book in my hand. So I think there will always be a market for